LinkedIn is one of the most effective online marketing tools available to coaches, consultants, and trainers. It's a bit like Facebook, but for grown-up serious businesses. And yet many small business owners really still don't know how to use it effectively to find new clients. In this talk, I'm going to show you how to apply the ABC of LinkedIn to help you generate more referrals and recommendations, meet and network with potential clients, and share content that will help you to build up stronger relationships in your business. For this talk, I asked for some volunteers who would like some help with their LinkedIn profile. And I was approached by 4 different people who all run small consultancy businesses, and they all very bravely offered to have their profiles reviewed. So I'm going to be sharing some of their profiles with you in this talk to illustrate the ABC that I'm going to go through. So I'm Chantal Cornelius, and I set up Appletree Marketing in the year 2000. And since then, I have helped literally hundreds of coaches, consultants, and trainers to grow their businesses. I do this through providing really simple, practical, down-to-earth advice and help to small businesses to help them grow. I've written and published 2 books on marketing and business survival, and I've been invited to speak quite a lot on marketing. And in this particular talk, we're going to be looking at the ABC of LinkedIn. So the 3 letters of the ABC that I'm going to take you through, here they are. So A is asking for recommendations, B is business networking, and C is for content. Now, all of these 3 letters apply to marketing in general, but for this talk, we're going to look particularly at LinkedIn. So A is asking for recommendations. When you provide a service such as coaching, consulting, or training, one of the best ways of getting new business is through recommendations. And this is because with a service, when somebody's looking to buy the service, they can't pick it up like they can with a mug or a pair of socks and look at it and compare it to another mug or another pair of socks. So they're relying on somebody recommending to them the service and somebody saying something nice about it. Now, LinkedIn is great at this because it has a function where you can ask for recommendations. And this slide shows a recommendation that was received by one of my lovely volunteers, Lynn Chapman. So she received this lovely recommendation from Martin Hill, and he said some nice things about her service. Now, a couple of things to point out to you. This recommendation was given to Lynn in October 2009, and I'm recording this talk in 2019. So that recommendation was 10 years ago. Now, Lynn is still in business, but she hasn't received any recommendations since then. So my recommendation to her is that she actually, and to anyone looking at this, is that you actually look to get more regular recommendations. My usual way of doing it is to ask for a recommendation about once a month. So this could be from somebody I've worked with, it could be a client, it could be a potential client. If you've spoken to a potential client and you've given them some help, and if they've said thank you to you, there's absolutely no reason that you shouldn't go back to them and say, you're very welcome, would you like to write me a recommendation? A couple of other tips to help you get recommendations. These are the 2 that I use on a regular basis. So if you receive an email or a card from somebody saying thank you so much for your help, look at the wording in the card. I did this at Christmas a little while ago. I'd received a lovely Christmas card from a new client who'd written some really lovely words in it. So I typed up the words and I emailed them back to her and said, this is what you said in your card. Would you be happy to put this out as a LinkedIn recommendation? And she said, yes, of course I will. And about 5 minutes later, it appeared on my profile. So you can take words and phrases that your clients and contacts actually say to you, and you can ask them to put them up as a recommendation. You can do the same thing with videos. So video testimonials are a great thing to add to your website. What you can then do is type up the words that the people say on the video, and again, send them back to that person and ask them to put up a recommendation. So lots of different ways for asking for recommendations. The other thing to point out, showing up on Lynn's profile here, is she's received one recommendation and she's given two. Now, giving recommendations, I think, on LinkedIn is just as important as receiving them. And the game that I play is that every time I ask for a recommendation, I also give one. I think that when I'm looking at LinkedIn, I'm looking at a potential client's profile or a potential supplier's profile. I want to look at their recommendations and see what nice things people are saying about them and how many and how frequently. But I also want to see how many recommendations they've given. I always look for a balance, and I think a balance is really important. It's very easy to get lots and lots of recommendations and get a whole flurry of them, but it doesn't look so good if you haven't given very many. So at the moment, Lynn's profile is okay because she's received one and given two, and that's a nice balance. But she really does need to get some more recent recommendations. This is a screenshot from my LinkedIn profile. I put this slide together back in September, and so these are the two latest, and I've actually had a few more from since then. Now you'll see that the balance, oh, actually I need to give a few more recommendations. So at the point I made this slide, I've received 73 and I've given 68. So I think I need to make a note to go and actually give a few more recommendations. So that's my first tip. A is for ask for recommendations and also give recommendations. When somebody is referred to you for your service, they're going to look you up online, they're going to look at your website, and they're going to look at LinkedIn, and they will want to read some good recommendations. So that's tip number one, is build up your bank of recommendations. So let's talk about B. B is for business networking. And LinkedIn, I think, is the best online networking platform that you can use for service businesses. So coaching, consulting, training, facilitating. I think it's the very best one. And there are lots of different ways that you can network with clients and contact on LinkedIn. Now, this slide shows part of the profile of Shifra Cook, one of my other lovely volunteers. And it shows the experience section, which everybody has on LinkedIn. So this is where you get to tell people about your experience, about the jobs that you've had, about the business that you currently run. Now, I picked this out of Shifra's profile because it's really nice that she's got all her details on there of the companies that she's worked for and the company that she currently runs. And looking at it, there aren't too many gaps, which is nice. However, what she really needs to improve on here is the detail, because she doesn't have any detail here about what she's done at the different jobs that she's had, or there's no detail about her current business that she runs. On your LinkedIn profile, under the experience section, you can add as many jobs or businesses as you want. You can also add a whole load of information about each one. And this is what I currently have on my experience section for my LinkedIn profile. So the first bit talks about my business. It talks about the fact that I've been running it for 19 and a bit years. It has some questions there that are the ones that I use to grab people's attention. And it starts to explain what I do. Now, the shot that you can see there, that's about the amount of space that you can see on LinkedIn. And you'll see over on the right-hand side, about halfway down, there's a little grey link that says see more. If you click on that on a LinkedIn profile and on yours, you'll see there's a whole load more space where you can add lots more detail. And what I encourage you to do is think about what you want to put there. Now, it's not like a website where you're putting pages and pages. It's almost like the home page of your website. It's your chance to tell people a bit more about what you do and really encourage them to actually pick up the phone and call you. So I think at the bottom of my profile, and I'm actually just going to go and check this online on my other screen so that I can see what it should say at the bottom of the experience section is, if you'd like more information, pick up the phone, give me a call, connect. So let me just have a look on there. And yes, it does. It's got phone numbers, it's got links to my website, and it's got link to my blog. So think about putting all of those details onto your profile. I've also then got a bit of information about a voluntary job that I do that people might want to know about. So the experience section is where you can put relevant information. If you have a job, if you run a business now and you used to do something completely different in the past, I actually used to be a riding instructor. I don't think I've got that on my LinkedIn profile. It's not relevant. People don't need to know that I was a riding instructor 25 years ago. So think about what you need to say and what's relevant to go on your LinkedIn profile. Also on the networking side, no, let's go back a bit. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to say about networking. You can also look at the number of people that you're connected to on LinkedIn, and on your profile it will tell you, sorry, slides whizzing about all over the place. Your profile will tell you how many people you're connected to. And some people, I think when it gets to 500 plus, it'll just say 500 plus. But if you've only got a couple of hundred LinkedIn connections, my suggestion is that you look for more people to connect with. So look for people who are potential clients. Make sure that you're connected to all of your existing clients and contacts. You can be connected to suppliers. I know a lot of people in a particular industry, in the professional speaking industry, and I'm connected to a lot of those. And it's just a really good way of keeping in touch with them. And one of the ways of keeping in touch is through your content. So in the ABC of marketing, we've looked at A, which is ask for referrals, B, which is business networking, and C is content. So content is the information that you share with people through your LinkedIn profile and through your website and your blog. It's the information that you share that is valuable. So it's things like blogs, newsletters, articles, and on LinkedIn you can do all of this. You can also share posts. So Sue Diamond was another one of my volunteers, and I looked at her profile and I looked at, in particular, at the content. And I saw Sue's latest post that she put up 2 weeks before I prepared these slides. And she was talking about an event that she was going to in October. Now that's a really nice post to put up because she's shown people where she's going to be. She's actually helped promote the event, which is rather nice, and they may well pick up on that. And it gives people a chance to know a bit more about Sue and where she's going to be. It would give people the chance to comment or to say, yes, please, I'll come and see you. So she's put up something useful as well, because other people may want to go to this event. They may not have heard about it, so they may be interested in attending. A lot of posts that I see on LinkedIn are very promotional. They're just saying, I'm great, I've done this, I've got this new client, or even on the non-professional side, I'm going out for a nice walk with my dogs this morning. Those sort of posts aren't very useful. My rule with sharing content anywhere is make sure that it's valuable to the person who's going to be reading it. Make sure that there's some value, something useful in there that people can actually use. But Sue's done a good job here. My recommendation to her was that she actually looked to post more regularly, because when I made these slides, she hadn't posted for 2 weeks. And the previous one was a month before. So my recommendation to her was that she actually look at posting about once a week to start building up a steady stream. And each time you post, your contacts will hear about it. So it's just a nice way of keeping in touch. Now, another area of content is articles. And Catherine, another one of my volunteers, I looked at the content on her page, and she hasn't actually posted any articles, as you can see from the lovely, sad little desert island that's there. So I think there are 2 good ways to share content on LinkedIn. The first one is through posts, as we've looked at on Sue's profile. The second one is on articles, which we're looking at now for Catherine's. So if you write a regular blog or a newsletter, you can use the same material and you can post it as an article on LinkedIn. If you're not sure how to do this, the way to do it is go to the homepage of LinkedIn, and on it you'll see lots of comments and posts and updates from other people. And at the top of that page in the middle, there is a box with looks like a pencil in a box, and it says start a post. So if you click on that, that's where you can create a short post, as we looked at on Sue's profile. You can add photos, you can add videos, you can add documents, you can add images, you can write whatever you like. And if I just go back to Sue's slide, you'll see that she's talked about where she's going. She's added in she's actually added in a link to the event, which has put up this image. So that's a good thing to do. On Catherine's, when you want to write an article, underneath, back onto the homepage of LinkedIn, underneath where it says start a post, it says write an article on LinkedIn. And all you do is you click on that, and it'll take you through to a page where it asks you to put in an image if you want to. And images are always good to add in, because they really lift the article. It asks for a headline, and then it says right here. If you've already written a blog or an email newsletter, you can literally just copy and paste your words from the blog and paste them into LinkedIn. And once you've done it, you click on publish in the top right hand corner, and it will publish it, and it'll send a message out to all of your contacts that you've done it. And I'm just going to go on to my next slide to see if I have an example. So this is the content page as it was when I prepared these slides. So I write a blog about twice a month, and I've been working through the A to Z of marketing experts. And as you can see there, K was for Kylie Minogue. I went to see her in concert, and I was really impressed by the marketing that she does and how she plays to her audience. So that's why I wrote about Kylie. So every month I take one of my blogs and I post it as an article on LinkedIn. What this does is it then shows up in your articles and activity section. So if I go back a page, so Catherine's activity, there was nothing there. Whereas on mine, you can see that it's showing up. And it will, it will show you the latest articles that you've put up. It will also show you on the right hand side any comments that you've been putting up, commenting on other people's posts or articles. Lower down on this page it says see all articles, and I said earlier that providing useful, valuable content is what people are looking for when they look on your LinkedIn profile. If your profile only talks about how great you are, that's not really very helpful. But if people can see a whole bunch of articles, and I've got loads on mine because I've been doing this for quite a long time, and I've been making sure that every month I share another one of my articles. So people can go onto your LinkedIn profile, they can read some of your articles, they can see what you've been up to. Content is a really good way of sharing your knowledge and expertise. I said earlier that when you provide a service such as coaching, consulting, or training, it's very difficult to show off your service. And quite often you'll be asking people to book you and to pay for you before you've actually produced any results for them. So content is a really good way of sharing what people can expect from you and sharing your knowledge. I've always built my business on generosity, so I'm very happy to share as much knowledge and experience and expertise as I can, because I know that people will remember me as the one that shared the advice, and they're more likely to come back to me than to go to somebody who's making them pay for every little scrap of advice. So think about what advice and knowledge and experience you can share in all of your marketing, but specifically on LinkedIn. So that is my very quick run through of the ABC of using LinkedIn. A is asking for recommendations. See if you can ask for a recommendation every month and make sure you give a recommendation every month. B is for business networking. Make sure that your profile is up to date, that it shares your experience with people who might be looking at it, Make sure as well that you're connected to all the people to whom you ought to be connected. So clients, contacts, prospects, suppliers, people in your industry, influencers. Oh, and a little note on that. When you ask somebody to connect with you, please don't use the standard message. Sometimes if you do it through a smartphone, it will quite often just send out the standard message. Make sure that you actually send a personalized message to everybody. Let them know why you want to connect with them. And C is for content. Share your content. Write blogs, write newsletters, write articles, send them out to all of your contacts, but also then share them on LinkedIn so that your profile becomes a valuable resource and people will want to go and have a look at it. I hope you found that useful. If you have any questions about LinkedIn and getting more out of it, please do contact me. My phone number is there on the screen. If you'd like to book a free marketing review, let me know. This would be an hour on the phone where we can talk through LinkedIn in particular if you'd like it, but any other aspect of your marketing. I give up a few slots every month to do these, so if you'd like to book one, let me know. And if you'd like some regular marketing advice, do sign up to Scribbles, my email newsletter. It's free. It goes out on the third Wednesday of every month, and it's just crammed full of content, full of useful information for coaches, consultants, and trainers. So I hope you found that useful, and please do get in touch if you have any questions. Goodbye.